Well, it appears that winter is here. And unless you've been living underneath a rock for the last couple days, you heard about the story in Virginia on I-95, I want to say. 95, 92, something like that. Anyway, people were stranded on the interstate overnight because a semi-truck had jackknifed and was taking up both lanes. And the weather was really bad, and they were having issues getting recovery vehicles out there. A lot of people were stuck with no provisions, no blankets, no food, no water, no nothing. There was a bunch of people who said they hadn't ate anything for like 18 hours. And just want to go over a couple things that you can throw in your vehicle that don't take up much room, just in case something like this happens.
As she desperately tried to keep her kids warm.
I kept thinking, they're gonna die in this cold. It was freezing. Like, my daughter's cheeks were so cold.
A firefighter walked by their car and she shouted for help.
Can you please just take my kids? You don't need to take us. Just take my kids, please.
The firefighter took them all to the back of this ambulance, a gurney reserved for saving lives, possibly fulfilling its purpose, but this time as a warm bed.
So let's start with some basic stuff. One, tires. You need a good set of winter tires, whether you have a truck, car, whatever you're doing. That's going to get you out of a jam way more than almost anything else. Four-wheel drive, obviously my truck is four-wheel drive. That helps tremendously. These yellow or amber lights here, they're going to help when you have like a blizzard or a snowstorm or anything like that. Back here, I got a new tonneau cover, and I finally got my rack up here. I have my LED lights, and I have a whole bunch of recovery gear up here. Kind of just take a walk around real quick. I'm gonna add a few more things up there, but as of right now, it's not too shabby. So all my recovery gear is up there. It's accessible. It's easy to find. So if I'm in a ditch or anything, or somebody else is in a ditch, I'm trying to help them out, go grab that stuff pretty easy. Back here, I got some boots for deep snow. I have a sleeping bag and a blanket, just in case. I mean, it's back here. Just throw a bungee cord around it. It's back there, and you can just grab it easy. You got your antifreeze and your window juice, fire extinguisher. Got my O2 air. Obviously, I have a bunch more stuff down here, blankets, emergency food, things like that. One thing, this guy right here is pretty awesome. I think I've shown this on a different video, but this is essentially, you can jump your car with this. It was like 80 bucks at Walmart. It's a red fuel powered by Schmucker. It's this little thing, you charge it up once every 6 months, and then you throw it in your car, and in case your battery goes dead or somebody else's battery goes dead, instead of using your vehicle to jump them, you can just slap that bad boy on them. This is a little, they call it a furniture mover, but what I've seen firefighters do with this is if somebody locks their keys in their car, you can take this down there, you can pump it up, and it'll push the window open just a little bit in order to get your coat hanger or whatever down there where you can unlock the door or anything to get inside. Obviously, that snowstorm down there, if you had a family of 4, you know what I mean, and you only have 2 blankets, you're gonna have to get comfortable. Here I have beanies, coats, I have some whoobies, I have everything down here that I would need to have a family of 4 and be okay with it. Inside I have like emergency ration food. Does it taste the best? Hell no, it doesn't taste the best, but it's gonna get you out of a jam, that's for sure. Another thing that's a must in the snow is obviously a little snow broom. Just used that this morning. But down here, I have medical kits, I have wipes, and I have some emergency food and stuff down there. The bad thing about winter, obviously, is water. Okay, if you leave it in your vehicle, it's just going to freeze. So what I do is, if I know I am going on a trip, more than, whatever, 75, 100 miles, what I will do is I will just throw some extra water in here. And this vehicle is not just kind of your everyday vehicle, it's your lifeline, okay? If you were to notice, when they were stuck there, a lot of those guys could have just went right through the ditch and turned around and went back home, worked from home, or just, took a sick day or whatever. But they couldn't, because a lot of those dudes have two-wheel drive cars. And unfortunately, in the snow, two-wheel drive cars do not do all that great. So I know that in other videos I have talked about my recovery gear. If you guys want to see an in-depth review of any of my recovery gear, just let me know. Just a couple more points to think about if you're going on a commute. If you have a long commute to work, and you can take some blankets, some food, anything like that, and throw it in a little backpack and throw it in your trunk, it's only going to help you. I mean, you can leave that stuff in there for quite a while and it won't go bad. If you get the emergency food rations, they're good for a couple of years, I believe. But if you're going on a trip and you're going 100 miles, 200 miles, 1,000 miles away, whatever it is, I always like to bring like a extra gas with me. If you have a car and you don't feel like putting 2 or 5 gallon gas can in your trunk and dealing with the smell and whatnot, I totally understand. But you could bring an empty one. I mean, maybe you could siphon out of another vehicle. You could walk to a gas station, somebody give you a ride, anything like that. It's just something to help you out. Another thing that will kill people is their own mind. You're sitting there like they did in Virginia. You're sitting there for 18, 24 hours, and you're just going out of your mind. You have nothing to do. I know my kids have phones, iPads. I do too. I also have DVD players in my truck. And, if you just turn your truck on for an hour, everybody can charge all their stuff and then turn it off, wait till it gets freezing cold again, then turn it back on. And there's probably a video out there somewhere that has, like, if you leave your car running for X amount of time versus turning your car on and off for X amount of time. I don't know what the mathematics on that would be, but hey, if you find it, let me know. But the thing that all those people in Virginia had is they had a mentality of, this won't happen to me. There's tons of people out there that, were driving electric cars. Electric cars, they not only have a range that they drive on, but they also have, battery life. So if you're just sitting there and your battery life goes dead on an electric car, what are you going to do? You can't jump start it. You can't put gas in it, or some of them you can't put gas in. A lot of them you can't. So what are you going to do? I don't know. I don't have that answer because I don't own an electric car. All I know is that I wouldn't want that to happen to me. So kind of to wrap everything up, if you just think about, hey, what would I need if me and my family or just yourself were stranded on a road, an icy road in the wintertime for 24 hours and you couldn't go anywhere? Let's say you couldn't drive around. You couldn't go through the median and go home. What would you need? Think about that. Throw it in a bag. If water freezes in the winter, which it does, then have a big Gatorade bottle full of water just sitting there on your counter or whatever, and you just throw that in your car when you're getting ready to go to work, when you're getting ready to go on your commute or whatever. It's something that doesn't take much time. It doesn't take much effort, but it can save your life. I mean, that was obviously a freak thing that happened, but that freak thing happens a lot. Look in Texas. They kind of had a similar situation there. Everywhere I've lived, they've closed the interstate for different things, mainly weather. Whether it's ice or snow or rock slides or what have you. But a little forethought is always better in the end, okay? So every time you leave your house, you got to ask yourself, are you an asset or a liability?